in one of the previous videos, I was expressing an overflowing abundance. Gave some examples in my life that really reflect that overflowing abundance. We often don't recognize or experience that overflowing abundance because we are resisting the flow. We are creating a block. We're holding on instead of letting go. To experience that overflowing abundance, you must trust. To let go of doubt. For trust is simply the absence of doubt. As you let go, you release. The block that prevents you from receiving that abundance that you want to experience. That resistance to the flow, to change, is the very resistance that dams up the flow. It's a lot of these very common experiences, the mundane moments of life, that you can open up more and more to the flow of life. I think I gave the example in one of those videos previously about letting go of things that no longer serve you, things that you've outgrown. And I gave the physical example of clothing, literally, that you've outgrown. Why do we hold on? This sort of hoarding that many of us do comes from lack. It's a scarcity. There's never enough. I have to hold on to many different things. A baby stroller when your kids have all grown up. Old clothes that you haven't worn in the last 3 years, but somehow think that you'll fit into them in the future. Old technology that has become obsolete. These possessions that you own actually reveal that they own you when you resist the change, when you don't want to let go of it. But it's actually in its letting go that you release yourself from the lack, the scarcity. It's when that resistance relaxes. It's when you open up to receiving more than you ever thought possible. Good example with these possessions is when you're open to change. You donate or you sell these possessions, and what you can experience is actually that flow that feels so natural. Something that you've had, that stroller example, or the old clothes that you no longer fit into. or the old technology that is obsolete. Throwing out the technology clears your desk, your office, for something new to replace it. The stroller that you're not using can serve another young family with their baby, instead of collecting dust in your garage or your basement. The clothes that you haven't worn in 3 years, that you one day, someday may fit into if you lose weight, well, those items, that clothing, can actually serve someone else. And you see, like this, if you donate it, if you sell it, it's really this natural flow, a transfer of energy. And this transfer of energy, this natural flow, is felt like circulation. You're circulating the energy the same way the blood flow, the airflow is circulating in the body. You see, when we hold on to things, things get stagnant. The old technology is holding space, creating clutter in your office. The old stroller, it's collecting dust in your basement. It's taking up space. And instead of letting it go and experiencing that release that feels so good, so liberating, we hold on to it. But when we let it go, you experience that release. And it's not just the release of the physical, but it's a release of the mental as well. There's a mental identification with those items, and those items represent an identity that has been created. So as we let go of those items, we're letting go of the identity itself. And that's ultimately why letting go of those possessions is so difficult for most of us. When you let go of those possessions, you're releasing yourself from that identity that you've created. There's a sort of birth and death that's experienced. It's no different than the breath. Hold your breath for too long and you'll experience that stagnation. That'll feel like you're dying. There's an in-breath and there's an out-breath. And this is the natural ebb and flow of life. The same way when we only accumulate and don't let go of these possessions, these items in our life, we don't experience that healthy circulation. When you're experiencing that healthy circulation, you're experiencing the flow of the abundance that you are. To take that stroller, to sell it, or to donate the clothing, you free up that space in your closet. You can sell your items, and you can take that money and reinvest it into something. Take some sort of old technology, perhaps a computer that's 3 years old, 4 years old, sell it, get some money, and then reinvest that into some new technology. that reinvesting is much better than holding on to an item for too long, where it loses its value and you experience that stagnation. Instead, that reinvesting allows you to experience the circulation. You're circulating, you're moving that energy. And there's different forms of moving that energy. It doesn't always have to be selling something. When you release, when you let go, that energy comes back to you in miraculous ways. A more refined way. So that it reflects your new level of growth, your new level of refinement. You're releasing the old, but then can experience that new energy as more authentic. Something new in your life can flow because you're circulating that energy. That old energy is released, that new energy flows into your life in different shapes and forms. But it's always going to be an energy that reflects your growth, your refinement, your transformation. So in one way, it's always better. Better in the sense that it's more you. But it requires that trust. It requires that openness. For you can't receive when you're closed. It's when you relax and you open your hand that you let go of anything that is in your hand. And in that openness, you're then able to receive the incoming flow of the new energy. You feel that aliveness. The energy's moving. It's not stagnant. And this healthy circulation that you experience in the things in your life, your possessions, you start seeing how the things in your life start serving you. Whereas when they are held on to in desperation, scarcity, and lack, you experience that stagnation. And it's a lot like stagnant blood clotting. It's a lot like holding your breath. You just don't feel alive. But when that blood, when that air is circulating, you experience that aliveness, that vitality. You experience yourself as that flow of life itself. You're no longer living in lack, desperation, scarcity. You're living as that overflowing abundance. So I invite you to relax, to release, through opening up, trusting yourself, life, and allow that energy to move so that you can experience that energy in a different form, a form that reflects your authentic self, a form that reflects your growth, your refinement. A form that you see yourself in and as. So if you're ready to open up, this is an open invitation for you to join me on the journey of truth.